Hey, what's going on, everyone? Monday and Matt here. So I thought this is what I wanted to do last night before my power went out, like like a son of a bitch. That's the whole issue. So I thought it would be fun to do a weird, wild, what the fuck, like this. So I'll be sharing the screen and everything. Just posting to Twitter right now. All right. Sweet. Oh, no, wait, shit. Let me fix that. God, I'm trying to get this stuff done. So I've been doing like a lot more live streams recently, and as you guys know, they've been a lot of fun. I wanted to do more of a live show for a while now, and this is giving me the opportunity to do that. So unfortunately, no webcam. That is going to be coming sometime, hopefully in the future. I'm very much hoping at some point we can figure this thing out, because for the most part, it is. Oh, it's annoying. It is annoying as all hell. Windows 10. So, all right. We will get to questions later on. Some of the comments so far are very interesting. So, for the most part, it's going to be. I got some good stuff here. Got 5 stories lined up. They're interesting. You can kind of take a look at them ahead of time in the video description if you want. They're out there, but they're interesting stuff. So let's just kick this. We'll wait a minute. We'll wait a minute for more people to pop in. So I'll answer some questions until we can get out to more of the viewers. Yeah, that Coke Zero. That's right. I dumped out like over half of that can last night, just because it was like not the best thing ever. I actually tried a little thing today. Maybe anyone out there who does streams more often can fill me in on this, but I tried to hook up my iPhone 6 to my Elgato and then connect that to OBS in order to have a functioning webcam, because the webcam is so broken on my Windows 10, I can't do anything with it. And that did not work out very well. So unfortunately, we're still figuring that out. But in the meantime, I'll probably just do this stuff sans webcam. You want me to spice up my videos to dress as Hitler? No. No. You want me to stuff your ass with bread? Also, no. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, this video will actually take up one of the spots today of the stuff that I do. So I'm only going to be posting 2 other videos today that are going to be standalone, mostly because I'm just I think I'm probably going to go through a lot of energy today. So if you want me to dress as Big Al, I'm not going to dress as Big Al. Maybe for Halloween. Maybe I'll do something like that for just shits and grins. Boxers or briefs, or boxers and briefs. Totally boxer briefs is what I am. Spice it up with basil and rosemary. Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? It tastes all right. It tastes all right. Okay, so let's see here. Midday streams, yeah. What gives you a raging boner? This is a very important question. I'm not going to answer what gives me a raging boner, but one day I'll release an autobiography of my life, and I'll just be like, my life as a YouTuber, parentheses, also what gave me a raging boner, end parentheses. Hey, what's going on, Maple Leaf? Welcome to the party. So, all right. So for those of you who may have popped in the other night to check out the test stream I did of Weird Wild What the Fuck from my phone, I had a lot of fun doing that, but a lot of the commentary I got back from that was people also wanted to see what was on the screen. They wanted to kind of go along with it. And I was unable to do that because I was shooting from my iPhone. So that is unfortunate. Again, that's just technical issues that I'm dealing with right now. So I'm trying to find a nice happy medium. This particular stream is, again, it's a second test stream to see how this kind of works, if people like it. And then also if the general audience that can't be here while I'm streaming will enjoy it as well. Because since I've been trying to like figure out how I want to do more things as we get further into the year, and the channel continues to grow, because it's still doing pretty well. I'm very thankful for that, and I always want to find ways to make it more interactive and more fun and more entertaining. So, it's definitely going to be a good time. All right, let's jump into this here. We got 60 people in the stream, perfectly good number. All right, we're gonna bring up the very first thing here, which is if I can get Firefox up. I'm using Firefox for the first time in a while. So, all right. Let me see. Present to everyone. Okay. So you guys can see this, right? Like you guys can see this okay and everything. I just want to make sure. Do I ever plan on doing conventions? Yeah, I'd love to do more conventions. I just would need to figure out how I'm going to do that. So, okay. Let me know if you guys can see the screen on there. Okay, good. All right. So we're going to bring this up again. Okay, so this is a fucking crazy story. All right. Look at this here. Women attempted to impregnate captive Mexican surrogate with syringes. What the fuck? And this is a real story. This is a real goddamn story. And if you're also wondering why it's more or less just like the very simple text on the screen, it's because I wanted to do away with all the extra clutter to make it more about that. So this is crazy. This is crazy. So, okay, it says here, a Florida woman pleaded guilty to forced labor charges after she admitted to smuggling a Mexican woman across the border, holding her captive while attempting to impregnate her with syringes. Okay, Florida, for one, if I recall correctly, is not connected to Mexico at all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not connected to Mexico because they have to go through like, I think go Alabama and then like Louisiana and then Texas and then Texas. Yeah, okay. All right. So how would she smuggle her? All right. She paid her. Her name is Estelia Clark, 47, Jacksonville. Told the courtroom she paid $3,000 to have a woman smuggled across the border from Mexico to be a pregnancy surrogate. That's a long way to smuggle somebody across the border. I mean, it just is. If you just go to like, where Texas connects with Mexico, you have to get them through Texas, through other states, and then into Jacksonville, Florida. Now, or maybe because I think Jacksonville is on the east side of the Gulf, then maybe just a boat or something. But that's like, why? All right. So it says here, Clark had assured the victim that the surrogacy would be medically supervised. Instead, the woman was forced mentally and physically abused and forced into domestic labor and held captive while being fed on a beans-only diet. That is the most racist diet ever. Right? That's the most racist diet. Oh my God. Physically abused and forced into domestic labor. That is so fucked up. Then Clark attempted to impregnate the victim using syringes filled with sperm from Clark's boyfriend, which was collected using condoms. Oh, dear Jesus. I want to know, what world does Estelia Clark live in where she thinks, hold on, I can take syringes. Now, it doesn't probably go into the details of the syringes. Like, I would look at it from like a syringes thinking, okay, she's going in, through the stomach into the womb and just kind of like stabbing randomly. Like, this might get there, right? But the other part of me thinks too, she probably did just take the syringe and insert it in the vagina and go from there. But at that point in time, you figure, why not just use a fucking turkey baster? You know what I mean? Like, it's more phallic in nature, and it's not a pointy end. Granted, this doesn't go into the details, and nor does it really need to go into the details, but that's still crazy as fuck, man. It's still crazy as fuck. All right. And then, like, where was the boyfriend in all this? Like, I don't know yet. I haven't, like, again, I find the headlines, we go through them this way, but so she collected the sperm from her boyfriend, and she used them collecting condoms. But don't condoms have like spermicide in them, right? Or is that like a specific thing? I remember that was a thing in the 90s, like, get your condoms a spermicide, and if the condoms were not just standard condoms, maybe they had spermicide, the sperm's going to die. So what the shit? All right, let's continue. Once those efforts did not work, Clark then forced the woman to have sex with two complete strangers through threats of force and coercion. Oh my God. This chick is fucked up, man. Like, Oh my Jesus Christ. All right. So then she was allowed to work, but Clark kept her earnings and threatened her family if she attempted to escape. This abuse lasted more than 2 years before police stepped in. Cops were tipped off after an acquaintance of the victim intervened. It took 2 years? Jesus Christ. At that point in time, there's got to be some level of Stockholm syndrome kicking in, right? That the woman, YL, has been like so mentally tortured and abused that she is just like catering to whatever the fuck Astalia Clark wants. I mean, like, that is fucked up. You can see too. Okay, so she was allowed to work, but Clark kept her earnings and threatened her family. Yeah, totally just beat her into submission, right? Like, if you don't do what I say, I will kill your family. I will go to Mexico and I'll kill your family. And since a lot of immigrants come over from Mexico to send money home to their family, it's like, I can understand that. But at the same time, it's like, wouldn't it be better to just be deported? You know, like, just to go to a cop and say, like, you've been kidnapped, you've been tortured, you've been like try to have forced pregnancy. I mean, like, and then just go, I will leave the country. Please get me the fuck out of here. Like, I would, but I understand it too from a psychological standpoint. This is fucking crazy. In 2015, Clark was hit with several charges, including bringing in and harboring aliens, sex trafficking of children, forced labor, and furthering slave traffic. The woman's lawyer was asked for a competency hearing. The court's determined she is deemed fit to stand trial, and she has yet to be sentenced, but could face up to 20 years in prison. 20 years in prison. 20 years in prison for this. All right. No, fuck that shit. That's a life imprisonment right there. That's a life imprisonment. Not even, you know, like, that's like put her ass on a fucking island and like just let her rot forever. Like, that's a life imprisonment thing there. You know, it's Jesus Christ. That is so fucked up. That is just like, look, I cover some horrible stories, and honestly, so far that is like the worst story of the 5 that I've selected for this episode. But still, this woman is fucking psychotic and is like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like, I want to know, what do you guys think about this? You know, like, let's go into the chat section of this particular story, because that's fucking crazy, right? That's absolutely nuts. Like, I really want to know what you guys are thinking. You know. I saw one comment, the wall just got 10 feet higher. Would that have stopped this from happening? I mean, coyotes are going to figure out a way. They're going to figure out a way. And even though the wall might be built, it's going to take longer than Trump's presidency to complete because of setbacks and delays, because, you know, people are going to fucking attack it. 20, you know, I agree, Black Cat. 20 is not enough. Life imprisonment. This is kidnapping and torture and like rape and fucking forced sex and trafficking and endangerment and fucking all of these horrible things have happened to this woman, to that YL woman. And it's like, I honestly, this may get me a little bit of flack in the chat, but you figure in a situation like that, the government might just go like, so listen, you just want to stay? Like, we'll look the other way. You can just stay put, you know, don't worry about going back home and shit. Like, I almost feel like that should grant her an instant citizenship. Not seriously, but it feels like there's got to be something. But it's granted, it's not the state's fault that this happened. It is Astalia Clark's fault that this happened. She is completely nuts. But this is a story too. This is a story that I feel like if it was a man that was the perpetrator of the crime, it would get a lot more traction. There, people would be talking about this forever. But it's kind of just feels like a throwaway particular story is almost what it feels like to me, because this is something that would be big news. This is huge thing. This is horrible. You know, so it's one of those nuts. Like, it's holy shit. Oh man, yeah, 20 bucks in a tiny American flag plus ticket to Montana. Sure, why not? No, Angela, I agree. Life is cheap. It's unfortunate. People will use all that crap. Wow, man, that is just, you know, I'm not gonna. I don't know what I mean. What are they gonna do? They're just gonna give her like a posturpedic mattress and say, "Be on your way." You know, like, is that what's gonna happen? They're gonna hook her up with a chick from was it New York State University who made those claims, Mattress Girl. Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about the sentencing gap. Yeah, that's right. Oh, fuck me. That's just like, that story is one I could just bitch about for hours because it's so fucking horrible. And again, I feel like it's just not getting a lot of traction. So, you know, There's a lot of evil in the fucking world, and that is definitely one of those stories. So let us jump over to the next one here, which again is a little bit funnier, nowhere near as remarkably fucked up. And again, if you guys want to like kind of get a preview, you can look in the comments or in the video description below. We'll have all that. So let's jump over here to Coca-Cola shuts down after human shit was found in cans. Now, after yesterday's hashtag thank you Coke scenario, and after my Coke Zero stream, I'm a little bit like a little bit laughing at the story, to be honest with you guys. Just a little bit laughing at the story, because human shit was found in cans, right? So it says here, an Irish Coca-Cola factory is being investigated after human waste was allegedly found in a shipment of cans. Factory workers at Lisburn, Northern Ireland Coca-Cola plant were disgusted when their night shift was halted due to the machines being clogged with what appeared to be human poop. Now listen, there's always that fight. What is better, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, right? And oftentimes it boils down to simply just taste preference, considering the fact that I do believe that between the two, it's like one ingredient that separates it. So it's, it's basically the same product minus one ingredient. And then it's just different tastes. Me personally, if I'm going to drink a soda, I'm going to prefer a Coke product over a Pepsi product, unless it's something like Diet Mountain Dew. I happen to like that, and everything else. But human waste being found at a factory in Ireland. I mean, is the IRA out there? Did like Pepsi hire the IRA to shut down a Coke plant? Because that's kind of what I feel is going on here. They go in, they're just like, shut it down anyway. No witnesses. So they're like, hold on, let's just throw shit at it. All right. So according to Unilad, a source at the plant said, it was absolutely horrible, and the machines had to be turned off for about 15 hours to be cleaned. It was unusual because normally the cans come from somewhere else in the UK, but this time they apparently came from Germany. The rumor is that some poor immigrants could have made that long journey in the lorry, and in their desperation were forced to use the cans instead of a toilet. It's really shocking, and beyond the shock of finding something pretty disgusting in the cans is the thought that there could have been poor people in that situation, and if they did make that journey, where are they now? Okay, so that is a leap. I mean, look, there is an immigrant situation happening in Germany. I don't think anyone out there can deny it. There's been lots of talks, lots of discussion about that for quite some time. It just cracks me up that the source is just like immediately saying, oh yeah, let's just bring it on that real quick. Let me turn off my phone there. There we go. Let's just aim it on that. It feels like a deflection, doesn't it? That feels to me like a deflection, right? The rumor is that some poor immigrants could have made it a long journey and then they had to shit in the cans because they were so desperate, right? I don't know about you, but when I travel, especially in high stress situations, I don't poop. Maybe you do. I know I don't. I know a lot of people that don't either. When they're kind of, if you're in high stress situations, your butt is sealed up watertight. I mean, after a couple of days, granted it's going to happen, but I mean, how far is it from Germany to Ireland? It's not a couple day drive. I don't really buy that particular aspect. I think if I had to guess, it probably would be like some kind of prank gone wrong, or some kind of sabotage event, or really probably a disgruntled employee. Right? You ever seen a pissed off drunk Irishman? That would make sense. But it okay, so it says here the cans typically arrive at the plant without the tops on, as they are filled at the plant before sealing. So that is a little bit freaky. That's a little okay. So do they like clean the cans, like sterilize the cans at the Irish factory, or are they sterilized at the Germany plant and then transported over and then not sterilized? I would think they would sterilize while they're at the Irish plant. If they don't sterilize there, that to me feels fucking wrong. If they're going to go in there without the tops on, I want that shit fucking sterilized like a motherfucker prior. You know what I mean? And honestly, whoever came in there to pull out the cans or whatever would have probably smelled human shit if it had been in there for a while. Like, it would have been something that would have been noticed. Though again, I don't really feel everything here is what they say it is. But Coca-Cola immediately responded by saying, at Coca-Cola, we take the safety and quality of our products extremely seriously. We are aware of an incident involving empty cans at our plant in Knockmore Hill, Lisburn. We are treating this matter extremely seriously and are conducting a thorough investigation in the cooperation with the PSNI. And if you guys are hearing a leaf blower in the background, I apologize. Apparently, my landlords love to wait until I'm doing something to bring someone else over. So, okay, goes through says here, the problem was identified immediately through our robust quality procedures. I don't know if I'd call it robust, right? If they didn't catch it in the transport process and they didn't catch it when it got to the plant and they didn't catch it until it made its way into the machines and clogged it up, then it's not really a robust quality procedure. All right. Somebody wasn't doing their job. That's what this boils down to. And all the product from the affected production was immediately impounded and will not be sold. Yeah, you would think that's kind of an average thing there. This is an isolated incident and does not affect any products currently on sale. Oh, yeah. And then at the end here, I love this. No one is happier about the shitstorm than the folks over at Pepsi, which is absolutely fucking true. That cracks me up on that one, because it's true. It's like, this is a situation where, you know, it probably an isolated incident. It probably is a disgruntled employee. They're not going to come out and say that unless they have absolute proof. But why else would somebody shit in a Coca-Cola can unless it was something along those lines, right? And that just, to me, that cracks me up, because the story itself is pretty wild, right? And I thought it'd be a good addition to this particular experiment of mine with the show. Yes, hashtag thank you, Coke. So what do you guys think about this? No, Mr. Shadow, I don't feel like I drank a Dookie can. The can of Coke Zero that I had been in my fridge for probably close to like 6 months. So that's I'm fine with that. Pepsi double agent. Is it probably immigrants on lorries? They always have to check the lorries. Immigrants hang around the ports in Germany and France trying to get into the lorries. All right. I mean, that's entirely possible, Angela. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying it doesn't feel like, if it did happen, somebody fucked up then when they got to the location. Like, somebody didn't do their job and check the product. So this is clearly a quality control issue from an employee. It's definitely a human error. So, you know, and that's right, Big Red Tank. It could have been a scat fetish. Someone could have been like, oh yeah, I'm on my break. I gotta poop and I want to jerk it. Why not do both? And then it's just somehow there were cans there. I don't know. It's a weird situation. Someone should sneak cocaine in. Yeah, cocaine found in Coca-Cola. Overnight, Coca-Cola stock prices skyrocket from people who are just really energized. Human error that was caused by human error. Well, it's a human error that was caused by human waste. But ultimately, it's one of those stories where you just kind of have to, you can't really help but laugh about that particular situation. I mean, look, they caught it. The stuff was impounded. It was clearly not going to go on sale. Everything's been cleaned, you know. But at the same time, everyone out there now in Ireland who's going to be getting Coke from the local distribution plant, you may want to check your cans. Like, ooh, I just really want a Coca-Cola, and you pop open the top and you're all, okay, it doesn't smell like shit. I think we're all right, you know. Or is there like a fecal matter pH test you can do, right? Where it's like you have to like dip a little stick in. Okay, no feces, we're good. Let's eat. So, oh my God. New Coke. Yeah, this could be considered new Coke. All right, so let's jump over to the next one. A little bit funnier of a story as well. I did report on this a while ago on its own, and it's just such an interesting story in and of itself. So you've got an 18-year-old model that auctioned off her virginity. Right, she was auctioning it off. She just sold it for an insane amount. Now, these stories are about as old as time in terms of the internet. You know, you hear about them for years. Women selling off their virginity to the highest bidder for whatever reason. Dudes have tried it as well without the success that they want, you know. And most guys would probably sell it off for like just $20 in a Twix bar or some shit like that. So, but this girl She did it, and I give her credit. I give her props. So it says here, the story of 18-year-old model Alexandria Kefren was auctioning off her virginity for a minimum of 1 million euros, or is that pounds? I don't even know, or roughly 1,063,449 USD. So she could, according to herself, buy a new home for her parents. And look, when I talked about that before, I was like, that's a noble cause. And if I remember correctly, there was a fire at her house, and that's what caused her to like lose everything. And so, no, that was a different case. That was another girl who was working in a brothel in Vegas, who was like doing hand and mouth stuff, but not the final act until enough money came in. That was what that was. This is a totally different story. So again, it's a tale as old as time. Right? It's a tale as old as time. These things happen. But the Daily Mail did say back then, the teenager was inspired to place an advert in an online escort agency after seeing the film Indecent Proposal, where Robert Redford's character offers Demi Moore $1 billion to spend the night with her. I don't believe it was $1 billion. I think it was $1 million. Because back in the 90s, back in the early 90s, 1 billion was like, oh dear God. You know, nowadays, like 1 billion is like, oh yeah, really? Okay. Like I've got that in my sock drawer, is what a lot of people might say now. But back then, that was a lot more money. She says, I was 15. I saw a movie on TV. It was about a girl who sold herself for one night. Maybe I could do this with my virginity. I saw many girls who sold themselves for 3.5 million pounds or more. She told the presenters, Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield. The European woman then said that she was up against a deadline because her parents were set to be made homeless, and she also needed the money to study abroad at Oxford University. Well, isn't that just philanthropic of her? Right? My parents are going to be homeless. So I got to get the money to buy my house and college. I mean, I can't knock the college part of it, right? But isn't college in the UK a lot cheaper? I mean, it's not. I know it's not like government subsidized, but isn't it like really affordable or something? Or is it just every college there is a university? I don't know. I'm from here. We don't. I don't know. Someone will probably tell me in the chat. And then it happened. So in December. It turns out she received an offer from a wealthy businessman willing to pay her 2.1 million. Despite protests from her parents, she insists that selling herself does not make her a prostitute. Okay, so that's kind of funny, right? So she watches a movie about Demi Moore getting paid $1 million to sleep with Robert Redford for one night. You know, I mean, the very definition of the word prostitution is what she is doing. And look, I don't blame her one damn bit. I mean, look, if you got it, flaunt it, sell it, shit. You know, there's someone always out there willing to buy something, you know? And so I'm totally fine with her doing this. I just find her justification, no, it doesn't make me a prostitute. No, it does. It does. I mean, you know, it does. You're selling your body for money. That is the very definition of being a prostitute. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. But so the article does go on to say here that they haven't heard whether the bidder is real or if she followed through on completing the auction. Okay, well then that's kind of a clickbait article then from fucking Bro Bible. This is what happens when I don't fully read through everything. Like, that's a good title. I'll talk about that. So, but I mean, still, this girl is either trying to boost up the price before selling it and then going from there. So I don't quite know what's going to happen with her. But I find the whole thing to be pretty remarkably hilarious in and of itself, just because you've got a woman out there who's wanting to make a little bit extra green. And look, I'm very much a proponent of legalizing prostitution in the United States. Granted, this is not happening here in the US, but I think we should legalize prostitution and tax it. Right? Same with weed. Legalize it, tax it. Shit. You know, for one, if people want to sell it, let them sell it. Two, it's a lot safer than how it would be handled on the street where there's no oversight or regulation or anything like that. And then, you know, people get in, you know, there'd be less drug addicted girls, or would be less girls that were captured and drug into that kind of life. It would completely cut down on human trafficking. If it was done legal, and they could, you know, they'd have to have like licenses and shit. So yeah, I think it would be a good boost to the local economy. And who doesn't like to, you know, I mean, like, think about this for a second. Like, imagine if Tinder turned into actual prostitution. You know what I mean? Like, you swipe right on someone, you want to pay them the money, you know, They've gone through their health check. You've gotten your health check before jumping on there. It's all good. Like, that's the idea behind it, is like, you could do that kind of shit. But what, what are you guys thinking about this kind of stuff? Because it's okay, so university is not free in the UK. You get loans. Well, you spend decades paying them back here in the United States too. Yeah, why isn't selling fucking legal? So that's you know what, Blue Mantis, she may or may not be a virgin. I don't know. I mean, isn't that something like that happens in certain parts of the world? Like, they do like the 2-finger test to make sure the girl's still a virgin. I mean, in the Middle East, I've heard of that happening. And how do you tell? She's like, oh, I'm a virgin in that particular area, but I've done butt stuff, right? Like, it's, how do you know? I mean, unless the guy's gonna like have her physically inspected by a doctor beforehand. Although, listen, if he's got the money to fork up 2.1 million for a night with her, he's got enough to pay like the $300 for a doctor visit to make sure that she's got a good bill of sale. Sounds fucking horrible. Hymen repair exists. All right. I don't know, Angela. I don't know, for that kind of money what he would consider to be getting his money's worth. I think at that point in time, it's if a person comes up and is like, you know what, like, I've got 2.1 million, I'll spend the money on this. That means they probably have it in spades. And it's like, it's just, like sock drawer money or behind the cushion money or something, and they're just like, it might also just be like a trophy to some people too. That's a way to look at it. So, also I really wonder if who knows? All right, let's jump over to the next one here, because this one is a little bit crazier. Definitely what the shit. And it makes me again just fucking hate humanity. All right, so what we got here is the story of a couple that's been arrested with trying to sell a baby online. I talk a little bit about, every once in a while, adoption disruption, which is the process of people adopting children, realizing that they don't want children, and then going on to forums and just basically finding someone to take them. And this happens a lot with children who come in from other countries that the parents get, the adopters, I should say, get, and then they just can't take them, so they just get rid of them. And this kind of feels like one of those situations as well. Although, this kind of paired with the first particular story that I covered, feel like they would go hand in hand. It's like, that's something. So it says your Greene County couple is behind bars after trying to sell a 5-month-old baby by posting an ad on Craigslist, according to the Greene County Sheriff's Office. John David Kane and Deanna Lynn Greer are charged with aggravated child abuse and aggravated child neglect or endangerment, Haley's Law. The Greene County Sheriff's Office says a couple told TBI agents that the baby was for sale for $3,000. An undercover TBI agent met with Greer and Kane on Friday afternoon at the Dollar General. Oh my fucking God. Yeah, imagine setting up that deal, right? Like, you're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna sell off the baby. Why don't you come on down to the Dollar General? We'll make the exchange there, because I need to get myself some dollar biscuits or some fucking shit. Oh my God, the Dollar General. Paid them $3,000 in cash and was given the baby. Kane and Greer were then arrested and taken into custody at the Greene County Jail. Who the like, this is like, I mean, I'm not the kind of person that argues for, oh God, like, what's the word I want to use here? Like, licenses to have children. You know what I mean? Like, it does sometimes feel like there should be some kind of test if you are of mental ability to host a child, to have a child, but ultimately you won't ever be able to control it. But the fact that people like this exist really piss me off, because, like, there are places you can go that you can give away a child. They have the drop off sites, they have those sites that are there. They take the child, no questions asked, and that's that. And but you can clearly see that this is a situation where John and Deanna wanted the $3,000, and they were like, why don't we just sell the baby? Like, that's what they looked at. They're like, well, I own you, I can sell you. And it's like, not in this country. Although again, it happens, but posting it on Craigslist. They posted it on Craigslist. Like, that is the retardation of some of these people. They posted it on, like, not even in a, like, they didn't even go to the deep web to, like, they didn't go on Google and type in how to sell things without getting caught and then learn about Tor and the deep web and then go from there. Now, I'm not trying to give anyone any fucking ideas. You can clearly see these two are fucking stupid and they deserve everything they get that is coming to them. And I'm glad the child is currently in the custody of the State Department and Children's Services, even though the foster system in our country is remarkably fucked and it's horrible on so many levels. At least the child is away from these two people. And that is the fucking good part of this particular story. It says here that a warrant from the Greene County Sheriff's Office says the couple did knowingly place the child in threat of serious danger, bodily injury, or death by selling the child to an unknown person. And they both are being held on a $150,000 bond and are scheduled to appear in court on Monday. And you can kind of see here by looking at her eyes, there is probably a fair amount of drugs involved. This dude just looks confused. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. But up here, it does say here, did knowingly place the child in threat of serious danger, bodily injury, or death by selling the child to an unknown person. Which begs me to ask the question, if it was a known person to them, would it be okay? Would they not be charged with that? What is the law there? What is the ruling there? It just feels a little bit kind of crazy. But yeah, that's a fucked up story, isn't it? That's a totally fucked up story. It's just, why not, a safe surrender site? Give the child a shot that's not going to be with someone you don't know who might, end up just like killing the baby and using it for parts. Given what I talked about in the first story of the episode, anything can fucking happen. But yeah, I'm glad that the child is okay. I'm glad that the child is okay. That is so fucked up, though. No, the guy doesn't look like me. The guy does not look like me. Okay, nuh-uh, no way. Baby merchant, tots R Us. I'll give you all the service, no damn fuss. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, I know, Mr. Shadow. Safe surrender sites exist. You can totally do things. Angela, I agree. Use protection or pull out and make a map of Hawaii on her stomach. Not as effective as using just protection, but still, you get the bulk of most of it out of the way. I don't know if a child can be sold. Children can't be sold in general. No, I know I'm making an assumption of critical thinking. I'm just saying it's like you would like people to have more sense, but they don't, because they're fucking stupid. Oh god, they're so stupid. But that's just the fucking world we live in. All right, let's jump over to the final story of today, because this one is, again, not as stupid, but still really fucking stupid, and shows you the hyper craziness of the world we fucking live in. A 5-year-old girl was suspended for brandishing a stick gun on a playground. Right? You ever want to like talk about the schools trying to destroy imagination in children? Right? If at first the Adderall doesn't succeed, then just suspend them for anything. That's how I look at it, at least. A 5-year-old girl in North Carolina has been stuck with a suspension after she pretended a stick was a gun during recess. I know. She's a horrible monster plotting the second Columbine. Caitlin Miller was playing her favorite game, King and Queens, with two friends when the incident happened. Chloe was the queen and Jaslyn was the princess, and I was the guard and Jaslyn was rude to me and told the teacher on me. So that's what happened. So Jaslyn, just going to come out and say it, kind of a cunt. She went and told on her. As a 5-year-old, I know that's a mean thing to say, but it's just kind of like, why you got to be narking on your friends, Jaslyn? What's wrong, Jaslyn? Huh? Watch, Caitlin's going to grow up and it's going to hit like fucking high school or middle school or something like that. And Jaslyn's going to fucking run her out the mouth or something. And she's going to be like, oh yeah, remember what's fucking 5-year-old, fucking first grade? Remember first grade? Booyah, bitch. And then she hits her with another stick, but this time it's a lot bigger and hurts a lot more. Right? Officials for the Hoke County School District said Caitlin made a shooting motion with a stick and thus posed a threat. Oh my God. The assistant principal told me Caitlin had a stick and she was using it to shoot and kill other students, says her mom, Brandy Miller. That is, oh wow. Talk about fucking hyperbole there, right? You know, did they shut the school down? It's always the assistant principal. Why is it always the assistant principal? That's a gigantic motherfucker. That always happens. But the assistant principal, was she just did she like close it down? Did she bring in counselors to ask the students how they're feeling? To ask the students if they need someone to talk to? Did she offer them juice and cookies for their tragedy? Right? This is the type of assistant principal, I guarantee you, that believes in safe spaces and trigger warnings. Guaranteed. But here's what the school board says. Policy 4331 states Hoke County schools will not tolerate assault, threats, or harassment from any student. Any student engaging in such behavior will be removed from the classroom or school environment for as long as necessary to provide a safe and orderly environment for learning. This wasn't like an argument where the little girl looked at the other girl, you know, and like called her a bitch, horse slut, and then threatened to kill her like you would find on some kind of really shitty reality TV show. This was them playing imaginary, make-believe, and she had a stick, and she was like, pew, 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 pew. And they're like, oh my God, you didn't. You didn't. You are Eric Klebold and Dylan, or was it Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold in the making? Go home. But she was back in school on Monday, or on Tuesday. But the mother is having trouble explaining the reason for the suspension because she's 5. How does she know any of this shit? Right? Like, that's the problem. She's 5 years old. What do they know at 5? All this is doing is teaching her like her imagination is bad and not that fun with her friends. Her mom says here that, I mean, we know why it's bad because we watch the news, but then I have to tell my kid you're not allowed to play like that in school because people do bad things to kids your age. I want them to apologize to her and tell her that it's okay. You can be 5 and have an imagination. No, you can't have an imagination. That's the problem here. You can't have an imagination. It doesn't work that way. They won't allow you to do that simply because it goes against school policy. Because if you have an imagination, anything could be determined as a threat or harassment or, you know, some kind of assault of some kind. You know, Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, why not just cripple these kids for life now? Just get them all lined up, get them ready for fucking Big Brother to be watching everything. You know, I'm not trying to make a 1984 reference here entirely, or at least the parable or comparison, but it feels like that sometimes. It's like, no, fuck that shit. If I would, this was my kid, I would have been like, no, you guys fucking apologize to her. Like, we'll talk to her about doing that's not right to do, but don't make her feel like she's some kind of outsider as a result of this. You know, it's just, kids can't be kids anymore. I swear to God. When I was a kid, we were playing cops and robbers. We were getting fucking rubber band guns. We were playing paintball. You know, thankfully, none of my friends ever got into the whole let's shoot each other with BB guns thing. Because fuck that. That's fucking horrible. So yeah, that's where that's at right now. And that's fucking bad. That's fucking lame. That's so stupid. But again, this is the world we live in. You know, yeah, no, it is teaching not to play with bitches named Jaslyn. That's true. It is teaching you not to play with bitches named Jaslyn. So, oh my God. So, yeah. So look, here's the thing, guys. So this episode, those are the 5 stories that I wanted to cover. I think this worked out pretty well. I hope you guys like it. So if you guys like it, let me know in the chat. I think we got like 129 people in here right now, which is pretty fucking cool, and I'm stoked about that. This is a series I've wanted to bring back for a while, and everything else. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun going forward. If you guys want to see more of this kind of stuff, like, definitely let me know, because I'm always going to be working on new ways to do it. Definitely getting in like a webcam and getting in like OBS stuff once I can figure that out with Windows 10. So it's we live in a fucked up world is the best way to describe it. We live in a fucked up world. And it is best to call out shit when we see it. Right. But I think sometimes, you know, like the stories I covered today, especially the thing with the kidnapped woman, and everything else, there's just like, there's a lot of fucked up shit out there that I think people do need to be aware of. And that's kind of like the stuff I like to talk about on this channel. I feel like for a while I was talking a lot about like the social justice side of things or the feminist side of things. And this at least allows me, very similar to talking about movies on 3 Buck Theater, this allows me to kind of talk about the things that look like a lot of fun. So yeah, Dan Fish Tanks, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. You know, yeah, no, definitely call out shit because it's warranted, not because it's all fucked up. I agree. Call it because it's warranted. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap up this stream. It's been a lot of fun. We'll do this again in a couple days. I have to go now do the content for the main channel, and this will be up for anyone who missed it or wants to go back and rewatch earlier shit. But again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. My name is Mundane Matt. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out.